matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA096.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you.
Sweet. And we are back on Wednesday to discuss a true crime doomed to fail relationship. Taylor, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you still drinking your cayenne chocolate milkshake pepper?
No, now I'm just drinking this iced coffee. I drink my iced coffee and my smoothies out of cocktail shakers because it makes me feel fancy.
It is fancy. That is a very retro thing, and you are a very retro person, so it all kind of adds up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope you're going to go get an espresso martini later today.
I don't even know where I would get one in this town.
Make your own.
I guess what do I need? Vodka and espresso?
I don't know. I don't know what martinis are made of. I really don't know what vermouth. I know vermouth goes in a martini. So
vermouth in a espresso martini.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
You go. I'll look it up. I'll report back at the end of this.
Sweet. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my topic, and I actually, similar to Taylor's topic earlier this week, have like a bit of a educational component to mine because I like to educate and entertain. We are edutainment after all. And I'm going to start with the logic of how I landed on the topic that I'm going to be discussing today, and then discussing it, and then everybody applauding it and saying how great it is, and reviewing it 5 stars on podcasts.
Or use.
So I'm going to start by putting out the disclaimer that I have not seen Barbie yet. And like it's not for any specific reason whatsoever. It's just at this point, everybody that I would want to see that movie with has already seen it. And so I was like, dude, like you can't go into the Barbie movie like looking the way you look. It's like going to Chuck E. Cheese alone. Like it just will look weird, and like I don't belong there, and I'm very susceptible to that kind of judgment.
Do you mean looking like a super young 25-year-old?
Like a super young 25-year-old, like a nubile, fresh-faced, bunny-tailed.
Like you do?
Yes, like I do. But I did the next best thing to watching the Barbie movie, which was go on Wikipedia and read the entire plot line of the movie.
Love it. I do that sometimes as well.
And I deduced that it ends with this like matriarchal versus patriarchal kind of issue, discussion, debate around how we structure society. So, because I'm a true feminist, I decided to focus my research this week on female true crime subjects.
Cool.
All in the interest of balancing the equities amongst the genders. Because, ladies and gentlemen, men are not the only ones who are absolute fucking monsters.
For anybody who has seen Barbie, Faraz is talking to me from his office where there's a bull skull behind him, and he very much lives in a Mojo Dojo Casa house, if that is something that makes sense to you.
What's Mojo Dojo? That's an insult. You're insulting me on my birthday.
Ken turns Barbie's. You're right. I'm sorry. Ken turns Barbie's dream house into a Mojo Dojo Casa house, which is like a house that has just like pictures of horses all over it. Like they're like, I'm gonna give it a dojo and casa and house, and he's like, it's a house. I can do whatever I want. Like, okay.
So he like converted to like Ted Turner at some point in the movie, and
exactly.
Like just put.
He's like wearing a fur coat and has a cowboy hat on, and there's like saloon doors. I feel like you'd get saloon doors.
Got it. So I've seen this screenshot before, and now you're helping me place that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yes, we're going to be discussing one in particular, but there's several others I'm also going to bring up during this conversation. So cool. I'm also going to do something kind of unique, and wait, no, I just rambled on about that. Ignore this part. But the main point is that I'm going to focus my research, or I did focus my research of all these stories on a very common thread, which is the concept of infanticide.
Great.
Joy to the so
you are a true feminist.
A true feminist. Hey, it's like being pro-choice, except maybe like a little bit past being pro-choice.
Oh, so Jesus. Okay, go ahead.
So we're gonna go into the history of infanticide, reasons why people commit it, and then cover several cases of it. Although, just by doing some cursory research, it is clear that infanticide is like way more common than it should have been. I'm going to be talking about four cases, one primary case of it, and then three others, just like as an aside, just to show how this works out. But
Mm-hmm.
there's so many. There's
Oh
so
no.
many cases. It is crazy how common it is, like for people to kill babies, which is like not great.
Oh
Also,
no.
I'm going to start off by saying I'm not a scientist.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm
So
glad that no, that's good. That's for the best.
so as I research, because to your point, with like everything you research, it's like there's people who've dedicated their entire lives to like every variation of infanticide from the beginning of human society, based on different cultures, based on political like it is a big topic,
Yeah.
and I'm going to just kind of blow through it, and also I'm going to actually categorize it in ways that they don't, because I think I'm smarter than them. So I'm going to have my own structure of how I'm going to discuss this.
Great. Great. Continue to mansplain this to the
So,
scientists.
so I'm gonna do a sorting of infanticide. I'll
Oh,
start by just saying that infant is it babies okay?
yeah, yeah, no, I was trying to see if I have my sweatshirt that says on Wednesdays we smash the patriarchy, but I don't have it in this room with me, but I was gonna put it on.
It's Sunday. It doesn't work.
It's a Mean Girls joke. Continue.
Okay, so if it's not obvious, infanticide is the intentional killing of an infant. Not necessarily yours, it's just the killing of an infant. Obviously, because humans are awful, the killing of babies has been a thing since we've had humans and we've had babies.
Yep.
This is where the non-scientist part of me is going to share my hot take on this. And in some cases, I'm going to say that it kind of makes sense to me. I'm not saying it's good or that I condone it. But for example, in like the 1200s, when you were living in feudal England and you were farming the land and eating your shoe leather to survive, and you
Yep.
had a child born with a bunch of deformities, and you don't even have enough resources to cover the existing family, then you're like, oh, well, it was not uncommon to kill that baby to preserve resources because it would never grow up to be like productive on a farm situation. I'm not saying it's good. I don't
No, I
love killing
understand.
babies.
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similarly, on the resource constraint justification for this, twins or triplets were not like a blessing back in the day. There was like it was those were like oh shit
It's like
moments
a
when you had
terrifying surprise.
a horrible, horrible surprise because you're like, whoa, so I got to deal with all the resource issues I already had times two or three. Like it was
My
awful.
my Aunt Kathy had twins in like 1975 and they didn't know that they were twins.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another situation where when in the old days, if you had more than one child born at the same time, you just killed one of them, or you
Yeah.
killed all but one of them, basically. So I'm going to pivot real quick using my
I'm
scientific
laughing.
supporting
I'm
method.
laughing to stop myself from screaming. So I just continue. No, it's fine. Can go ahead. If someone's like, I can't believe they're laughing at this, like you don't get it. Go ahead. I'm gonna put my
If you
head
need to
down between my
scream,
knees.
if you need to
Okay, go
scream,
ahead.
you need to scream. So
Okay, go
again, being a non-scientist, the two classifications I have for this are just understandable versus non-understandable. So we
ahead.
just covered the understandable version of this. I'm going to go into the non-understandable version of this. So, fun fact: Native Americans would often kill their infants who were born of a mixed race or mixed ancestry. So, for example, if it was like two tribes and like they interbred, they would
Hmm.
kill one that was not like this is this what blows you away. Again, humans have always been like this. Like
Oh
humans
my
have
God.
always been like this. It doesn't matter what race, what that none of that matters. Then there's the case of sex selective infanticide, which we discussed in the Surrender Coley episode, which
Hmm.
obviously it's like, when I found this really interesting. I went into like the China one child policy thing, and there's a huge difference in China in the number of boys to number of girls. And the reason is this because they
Right.
instituted this one child policy. And so they would just, if they had a daughter, they would just kill the kid over and over and over and over again until they got a boy.
Yeah.
And now you're like, you have a lopsided gender balance. And I was like, somebody who did this had to have known that this would be the outcome. I don't know the culture, but I would assume that it's common enough to where now you have this lopsided gender issue. So they had to have known something when they wrote this law. Now they changed it to two child, so hopefully that's less of a thing. Then there's the craziest version of infanticide, which is the killing of someone else's child for basically no reason whatsoever.
Ugh.
Those are bad. We don't like those at all,
I like
right?
this. Yes. I like these are some strong stances that I think make a lot of sense.
I'm a scientist, damn it.
I don't
So
know what that has to do with science, but like continue.
I don't know. I don't know either. I just say things. So this was in the news as of last week, the concept of infanticide, due to the case of Lucy Letby. Does this sound familiar?
Is she a nurse?
Yes, they're all
Ugh,
nurses. We're going to start with her as the main anchor
gross.
story for today's topic. So Lucy was born in the UK in January of 1990. So she's young. She's 33 years old. Like,
Oh my
you
God.
can look her up. She looks like a regular 33-year-old. Lucy had wanted to be a nurse all of her life, and specifically, she wanted to be a neonatal nurse. The reason being that she wanted this specific type of job is that apparently her birth was super difficult, and the her parents and her herself credit her being alive to the nurses that were there when her mom gave birth and kind of brought her back to life and was able to be a normal healthy baby as she grew up. So she goes to school to become a registered nurse and begins working in the neonatal unit of a hospital in 2012. Apparently, the neonatal unit or NICU at a hospital isn't uniformly of the same intensity. Did you know this, Taylor? I didn't know this.
No, what do you mean? You can finish that sentence though.
So just because you're in the NICU, just because being a baby in the NICU or being a nurse in the NICU doesn't mean that you're dealing with like consistently the same pattern of issues. Like they break it down into separate levels. I thought like intensive care is intensive care, but that's not the case
Right.
with babies. With babies in the UK, so the US has 4 levels, the UK has 3 levels. Level one babies, these are ones that they need more care than a normal baby, but are otherwise stable. So like maybe like you're like a 2 week preemie, or you know what I mean, like you're not that bad of shape. On
Got it.
average, the average NICU nurse can handle 4 of these like per shift. So
Okay.
they have a easier time with these kids. Level two babies in the NICU, these need advanced life support to maintain their stability. NICU nurses are limited to 2 babies per shift. They can only handle 2.
Okay.
Then you have the most intense. These are level three, where these are like super premature babies. They require constant monitoring, constant supervision. That is a one-to-one thing. And
That makes
that's
sense.
how the NICU kind of breaks down.
Okay.
So being assigned to level three is kind of a show of confidence in a nurse saying, we think that you can handle the worst of the worst of the worst. We're putting all of our confidence in you to do it, right?
Right.
In 2015, Lucy was assigned to start working on level three babies. She had mentioned before that she needed the rush. The level three was like the hardest of the hard cases. It did something to her. She didn't want boring cases. She wanted like the most intense shit going on around her.
Mm-hmm.
That same year, Lucy was responsible for taking care of a baby boy who was basically stable and by all accounts mostly okay. Like shouldn't have just died unsuspectingly. Lucy was working the night shift at that time, and so the day nurse told Lucy about what her observations were, what to expect, basically just a full synopsis debrief of where this kid's at and what to look out for. 26 minutes later, after Lucy takes over, she calls in a doctor as the baby health starts rapidly deteriorating. And this baby that was mostly stable just dies out of the blue.
Oh my God.
The day nurse, when she found out about this the next day, was completely shocked because I mean, look, like I've dated enough nurses to understand, like you get a sense of like, okay, like this is where this is gonna end. Like it sucks to say, but like sometimes they're like, yeah, we know that this person's probably gonna die, or we know that this person's pretty stable. Like there's a consistent thing that they totally get, and this nurse was shocked that this kid was dead because nothing would have indicated to her that this would happen.
Mm.
The doctor who attended to the baby noticed some blue and white mottling on the baby, which I didn't know what mottling meant, so I looked at what mottling meant. Mottling means, you know that weird skin complexion some people get where like their skin looks like super white in spots, but then super dark in other spots, and
Mm-hmm.
you usually see with like super pale people for the most part. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So that's what it is, and what that shows is there's a disruption in blood flow to the vessels that are underneath the skin. Something
Oh no.
happened where that blood vessel stopped producing enough oxygen going to the skin. So we're going to refer to this baby as Child A, which is how reports about this incident and the trial itself classified all of them. So all of the babies are classified from Child A to Child Q. We are not discussing Child T, S,
Child
P.
Q?
Yes, we are not
Ugh.
discussing all of those. We're going to go as far, I think I got as far as P. Yeah, I think I got as far as P because some of them she was not convicted of, but that they are still investigating. So
Oh my God.
we'll that's how we refer to these kids now because obviously nobody wants them to be public. Child A had a twin sister we're going to call Child B.
Oh no.
A little after a day from Child A's death, Child B also died. After the first death, the parents spent every moment they could with Child B. Like they were so grieved. They were beneath them
Yeah.
besides themselves. And so they were like, we gotta spend every second we have with this kid. This one was fine and it just died out of the blue. So we gotta do something to make sure we get as much time with this one as possible. The nurses at this hospital were like, guys, you really got to go home and rest. Like you've been here too long. And so
No.
they tell them to go rest. Lucy was the nurse that was responsible for Child B. During a
No.
designated feeding time where Lucy had custody of the baby, this one suddenly died without warning. Again, no
No.
indication why it would die.
God, those poor parents. The saddest thing I've ever heard.
This story is in. This is you look at her picture and you read what she did. It gets so much worse. I'm gonna continue. So in the case of Child B, when they autopsied the baby, they realized the child for sure had been injected with air. There was like I don't know how they know, but like there's something about like your blood vessels change or whatever, and that's how they realized this kid had been injected with air. And I didn't actually know what air in your blood vessels does, but it's like super bad for you.
Right,
So
that's why they like do that thing.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
no. Well, yeah.
To like a
Get
shot.
the air bubble out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked this up. So an air bubble in your veins can cause heart attack, stroke, brain damage. It can kill you in several different ways. And if it
Oh
doesn't
God.
kill you, it'll horribly debilitate you because imagine like what it can do is go into your heart, block a vessel, so that by the time you're able to like unlodge it, you've lost blood motion or whatever, oxygenation to your organs, and so you're brain dead. So it didn't even
Oh my
matter that
God.
they got it out of your system anyways. So that's what they discovered had happened with Child B. Days after Child B dies, Child C dies as well. This one was not under Lucy's care, but she was literally witnessed standing over the child when he coded. Coding means like he goes like beep beep
Yeah, yeah,
beep
yeah.
boo. It does that. She was standing over the kid when it coded. Days later, Child D dies from when an autopsy revealed was air injected into her bloodstream. Again, the autopsy piece is like that is the parent saying, "Yes, cut my child's." That's why like some have autopsies and some don't because at this point they don't know to suspect anything wrong, and so they have to ask the parent,
Right.
"Do you want us to cut your baby open?" Like some of them are like, "No," justifiably, right?
Yeah. Mm.
So the suspicious death stopped for about a month until early August of 2015 when a mother came in to check on her baby, Child E, and saw that he was bleeding from the mouth. And then he died later that day. Child E's twin brother, Child F, suffered a sudden drop in blood pressure with a horribly elevated heart rate later that day.
Oh
Tests would
no.
reveal that he had extremely high quantities of insulin in his system, which was something that was not even medicated. It was not a prescription. There was no reason why he should have any insulin artificially injected into his body, and he did. That's what caused this to happen. That one actually survived. That baby survived.
But is he okay? Does he have like problems?
That one's okay. This one's not. So in
Oh no.
September, so a month after what she did to Child F happened, the nurses were celebrating the 100th day of life for Child G. So again, we're in the level 3 unit. These when people are excited when these kids make it, right? So it was 100 days after this kid should have been dead. So
Hmm.
this was a 3 month preemie. This is a 3.5 month preemie. So I don't know much about babies, but I assume that's pretty bad. 3.5 months sounds like it's pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were celebrating this kid's life. So the nurses had made banners for him, and there was cake, and they were trying to celebrate this baby's life with the parents and its recovery and all that stuff. Shortly after, the baby's health monitor goes critical and doctors revive her. This started 15 minutes after Lucy had started feeding her. They didn't know what Lucy did to this baby, but later on at trial, the expert testimony was that she had apparently force fed this baby so much milk down her feeding tube to try and kill it, and her body just couldn't handle it. They ascertained this because the distance of her projectile vomiting was so profound, given how small her body was, given that she was a 3 month preemie, that they were like, the only way this could have happened was because of some mechanical thing, like where like you try to stuff way too much water in a balloon and just like burst. Like that's what was going on with this kid. That's what she was
This
trying
is
to
the
do to
saddest I've
it.
ever been. It's
It's
terrible.
horrible. It's horrible. That child survived, but was disabled. I don't know exactly why force feeding a baby would disable it. I didn't. The details didn't weren't provided for that, but it was noted that this child was disabled as a result of this.
Yeah, I mean, like when you first have a baby, they tell you the baby's stomach is like the size of a walnut, barely, like
Yeah,
it's very small. So like it would potentially like I think with anyone if you like because people die from like drinking too much water, like that's like a thing. But like I think that it probably my guess being someone who's had two babies is that expanded their stomach to like it couldn't handle it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, the baby survived. It was just like horribly disabled. So I would assume that means that maybe the stomach burst and she has to use some sort of a bag or I don't
Right.
know. It's awful. Whatever it is, it's awful. So that was child G. Child I died in October. This is like month. Notice I started with August,
Unbelievable. Yeah.
September. Now we're in child I in October. Lucy was seen hanging around this child's incubator, and another nurse says that Lucy told her that the baby looked pale, even though they were standing in the doorway of the nursery and the nursery lights were off. Like, it was a creepy thing to be like, notice how the baby looks pale. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, we can't even see the kid. And long story short was that that baby also ends up dying, and Lucy is the one who. So this was noted by the mother. So that child dies. They don't know what happened to it. Apparently when a child dies in this situation, the nurse will like bathe the child and then like give the parents time with it before it's off to whatever. And so
Mhm.
Lucy was noted as bathing this child while she was like smiling and like she looked like she was like having a good time, like she was enjoying this.
Oh
She
my
also
God.
asked the mom if she wanted her to take dead pictures of her with her dead baby. Like it was like a weird thing that stood out to the mom and stood out to the other nurses that were kind of on station there. The autopsy for this one revealed that the injuries were consistent with having been injected with air.
Ugh.
So that's early October. In late October, management of the hospital started growing concerned. And it was during this period that they noticed that Lucy was always on duty when terrible things happened to these kids. Doctors wanted management to take action, but were apparently told not to make a fuss about this because it would make us all look bad. It would make the hospital look bad.
It happens so many times. Whenever you hear these stories about doctors messing up, same with priests. It's like, oh, let's move them to a different
Yeah,
hospital or a different church or whatever. We don't want to get in trouble.
Taylor,
Like,
you were
oh my
one
God, people
hundred
are
percent.
dying.
You're 100% stepping on this. So
Sorry.
what ends up
So
that
bad.
was October. These doctors kept asking for more meetings with management to be like, guys, like we got to do something. We got to do something. Like nothing happened until April. So in
Oh my
April of
God.
2016, that is when Lucy was moved to the day shift. And then lo and
Great.
behold, no
Day shift
babies,
babies dies.
no babies died the night shift.
Ugh.
So days after she is moved into the day shift, Child M and his twin brother Child L's vitals suddenly crash and they had to be revived. One was presumed to have been injected with insulin, and the other was presumed to have been injected with air. A month later, in May, another emergency meeting was called by the doctors and management to discuss all these suspicious deaths, and apparently nothing came out of that conversation either. Then in June, again, a month later, Lucy seems to have escalated her method of killing or trying to kill. This was intense. This is like where you get, she's like fucking ballistic. This is when she physically starts attacking babies. Like,
Oh
I
my
mean, she was
God.
physically attacking them anyways, but this is more like blunt force trauma attacking the child. So I was like, dude, what an insane thing to like write down and then read into a microphone.
I
That's when
know.
she starts physically attacking the babies.
Oh my God.
So child N suffered trauma to his throat, Nurses just heard him screaming, and when they rushed in, they noticed swelling in his throat and blood splattered around the mouth. The assumption being that she had put her forearm on this baby's neck and just kind of held it there. But they don't know. They don't know for sure what happened with this kid. It's just like he suffered bad injuries to his throat. On June 23rd and June 24th, this is the final attempts that we know of occurred. These were a set of triplets, two of which were killed. Out of there was three, that two were killed.
Oh my
Child
God.
O, one of the triplets, Child O, his vitals dropped, and it was recommended by a junior nurse to Lucy, who was a senior nurse on staff, to move the child to a more intensive part of the unit. And Lucy disagreed. Shortly thereafter, the child dies. An autopsy of this child would reveal evidence of air being injected into his body and liver damage that was reported to be consistent with what you would see in a car crash.
Oh my
So,
God.
so she did something to this kid beyond just like blunt force trauma to I don't how much does a newborn weigh? Are they like 8 pounds? Like what do you
Yeah,
how can
no.
you do this to like a crazy? And this is where the escalation really picked up. 13 minutes later, after this child is dead, Lucy is feeding child P, which is the
Oh my
other
God.
triplet, when he also goes critical. And a doctor's examination revealed that his diaphragm was shattered
Ugh.
and this baby died. Before this baby died, doctors had requested an ambulance to take him to a different hospital because presumably they had some facility there that was better than the hospital he was currently in. When the
Yeah.
hospital arrived, Child P was already dead.
Oh my
The
God.
parents begged the management of the hospital to let them take their surviving triplet to this other hospital, and they did. And this is where this is part like my hair stand up. This is when everybody looked around, was like, oh fuck, like this chick's nuts. Like these babies have injuries consistent with like a car crash, and
Right.
they die within 13 minutes of each other. Like this is when like everybody was like, we can't just pretend this isn't happening anymore.
Are there no
So
cameras in like the nursery? Where is she with them?
I don't know. I don't know if I mean there should be cameras. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. She would also do a lot of things where she would falsify records. So for example, she would change like feeding times to times when she wasn't on shift, or she would change the name of the nurse that was during feeding. She would try to do
Mm.
things like obfuscate her
Mm-hmm.
involvement that were like,
Mm-hmm.
but there were witnesses, so people were like, yeah, that was Lucy. Like the one consistent thing was it was always Lucy was there.
They're
So
still letting
yeah,
her around babies.
yeah. And this situation with these triplets, that was kind of the final straw where everybody looks around and looks at Lucy and they're like, oh shit, we have a huge problem here. At this point, it almost felt like she wasn't even really trying to cover it up because again, these two in particular were violent deaths. Like they like she fucked these kids up, like which is like a horrible way to put it. But
Oh
like
my
she really
God.
damaged them badly physically. So this was different than the other ones where a lot of times they would crash and then they'll be revived. There was no reviving these kids. Their bodies were destroyed, and so this is where things kind of stepped up. And it would be 3 weeks after the deaths of these triplets that she was formally removed from the hospital, and then all the deaths stopped. For context, I looked this up. That hospital had two baby deaths in the preceding 5 years before Lucy. Like
Ugh.
this volume of deaths was like way outside the norm. So it would take about a year after Lucy was discharged when she was arrested. She was arrested in July of 2018. She was originally arrested on 8 counts of murder, six attempted murder, but as the investigation dragged on, the charges kept racking up. She ended up somewhere around 7 charges of murder and 15 of attempted murder. Her trial began in October of 2022, and she pled not guilty. During the trial, it was revealed that people who worked at the hospital had suspected Lucy pretty early on and argued with management to have her removed. The
What?
obvious reason why everyone suspected Lucy, like I mentioned before, was that on every one of these 25 suspicious incidents of a child dying or almost dying, Lucy was there. And when she wasn't there, nothing happened, which is like a pretty big obvious
Mm.
tell.
So
Again,
obvious.
again,
And when
like
you're
the
in the hospital, like you trust that the nurse is not gonna kill your fucking baby. Oh my
That's the part
God.
that sucked the worst reading about was like the story of like the triplet parents because they were like the parents were like, this isn't normal. Like, we're not doctors, but this is not normal. Both two of our kids had no issues. They died. Give us the other one. We don't care that it needs support right now. We have to take it out of this hospital. You guys are killing our kids. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So on August 18th of this year, Lucy, so like literally a week ago,
I can't believe this
she was
happened.
it just
I
happened.
think I saw this on the news. Yeah.
She was found guilty of 7 counts of murder and 7 counts of attempted murder. There's actually additional cases because she worked at another hospital before this where there's a large number of child deaths. So they're like looking at those cases too to see like where she might have fit in there as well. She ended up
Hmm.
getting what's called a whole life term, which is life without the opportunity for parole. And she is the fourth woman in the history of the UK to receive that sentence alongside Myra Henley, Rosemary West, and Joanna Dennehy. It's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Crazy.
There's a
Motive
list of
wise,
baddies.
horrible, horrible. So motive wise, several things have been positive. One was that she was really infatuated with this one doctor who was also he was a married doctor who worked at the hospital, and he was on the unit was regularly the one that was called in when a child went critical, and this was like her way of trying to be around him or whatever. Another one was there was a written note that detectives found that basically talked about how jealous Lucy was that she was talking about how I'm never going to be able to get married, I'm never going to be able to have my own family and have my own kids. So there was like a jealousy thing of like fuck these people for having I don't know, like
Ew.
it's hard to nail down. Like I think that sometimes people are just fucked in the head and there's no fixing them, and I think Lucy kind of fits into that category.
Yeah.
What do you think she did it?
Because she could. Like power. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? Like, cause she like, cause I mean, it sounds
It's
like
so
she went in,
violent though.
but why would she go
So
in and be like,
violent.
I was saved by a NICU nurse and then like maybe feeling like she could never save a baby? Or maybe did she want to save a baby at any time?
That was
You
one
know,
thing too they
people
found.
do that.
Yeah, one thing they found too was that she wrote that she's not good enough and she just doesn't deserve to be like in charge of these kids, and
Yeah, no shit.
it was a weird she was right. She's not good
For real.
enough. Like she nailed that part.
I
But
feel like sometimes people like I don't know, I can't think of an example, but like in like hospitals they'll like make someone sick and then make them better, and then to
yeah,
be like, oh, I saved this person, they were like dying, but like they're the ones who did it. So, but it doesn't sound like she ever had any intention of saving them.
no, she couldn't. She couldn't because like what she would do to them would require like doctors and surgery. Like it was like
Oh my
drastic
God.
medical intervention. So yeah, she seems like a fucking crazy bitch. That's what she kind of sounds like.
What a crazy bitch. I don't understand. Like I just obviously thank you for me. I would never hurt a baby, but um the idea of like punching a baby, you know,
Whenever
like
I was
throwing a
researching this,
baby. What is she doing?
dude, I was
Yeah.
researching this. I was like, your computer is for sure being fucking tracked. Like for sure being tracked.
Yeah.
Like I was looking up like dead babies question mark. Like it was just, like the worst shit. But like this. So what was wild about this was that as I researched this and you just link out from one case to the next case to the next case, there's so many that came up. Like it was such a common thing, and here's like three that came up immediately. Another one was Beverly Allitt. The reason this one came up was that it was just presumed that Lucy understood Beverly Allitt's case because her murder methods were the same. She would inject air and then
Ew.
inject insulin. And so this was also a British nurse, but she was convicted of killing four infants. Like only like you know what I
Oh
mean? Like,
my God.
compared to
Yeah.
what Lucy did, where like now they're thinking that it could be as high as 23 that she killed or tried to kill. Like but and with Lucy's case, it happened in like a year and a half.
That was
Like, it was
so fast.
so like Jeffrey Dahmer took like 10 years to build up a 12 body count. Like this was like every other day, hours. One was 13 minutes from one to the next. It was
That is
crazy.
crazy. Like I feel like killing adults doesn't happen that fast.
No, no. And then there was another person in Japan. So this was Miyuki Ishikawa. She was a midwife who was convicted of killing five babies, indicted of killing 27, and police think she probably killed as high as 84 babies.
Oh my God.
And then,
That's so
luckily,
much work to have a baby for that baby to fucking get killed in the hospital. It's
crazy.
unbelievable.
crazy.
Especially those triplets. Is that one triplet still alive?
One triplet's still alive. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
because the
God.
parents were like, "Give me the thing. I don't care. Like put it in like a breadbasket. And I was like, race home with it. Like it's better than being
Yeah,
here. Because then
100%.
think about that. You like it's like a house of horrors where you're like, my baby's fine, and then its diaphragm has been shattered and it's not breathing anymore. And then 13 minutes later, it's like that baby's fine, and its fucking liver has been lacerated and it's not breathing. Like, it's like what do you? It's like a house of horrors. It's crazy.
I can't believe it's awful. Oh my God.
And the last one I looked up, these should all be cases on their own, was Janine Jones. She was an American nurse who was convicted of killing two babies, but it is thought that she could have killed as many as 60. Because again, these people don't get caught because the way they kill them is like so like nefarious. It's like an air bubble. It's you know what I mean. It's not like except for Lucy's last two. It's not like you just bash them in the head with a crowbar. Like there's nothing there to witness.
Yeah. Oh, but it's just like it seems like if there's a pattern, there's a pattern, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's so terrible.
yeah, I realized that like research. I was like, if I have a kid, I'm just gonna like stick with it the entire time it's in the hospital.
They do that now.
Parents do that.
Yeah, for the most part, like your baby very rarely leaves you. It leaves you, I mean, when it leaves you, it goes with a nurse, but it leaves you to like get its hearing tested when you first have it, and like that's it. And then it has like, I mean, for like kidnapping reasons, it has like a angle monitor on, you know? Like Juan took Florence out of the room I was in 2 seconds before we all left, and somebody stopped him. And they were like, "What are you doing with that baby?" And he was like, "It's not my baby." And you'll have your matching things, and they scan you. They're like, "Oh, these people are allowed to be around this baby," and that's for like I said, like kidnapping. But like you do give the baby to the nurse every once in a while, and you trust them.
Hey, what do they do with the hearing test? How do they check the hearing?
I have no idea.
Why
They
can't
do
they just do that
something.
in the room?
There's like a machine. They like look at they have
Oh,
like, that's like one of the first things that they do. They have to take because they have to take them out. So they have to take them out and do like a hearing test. And that's really the only one that they take the baby away for. So that I assume is like a big machine to make sure that the baby can hear. I don't know how they test it. Ask it some questions. I don't know.
weird.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, well, it was an awful story. It was awful as I was reading it because I was just like thinking about how it's like every day. It's like you wake up in the morning, like, I'm gonna kill a baby this morning. It's like, how do you like it's crazy to like think about what this woman's like
I mean, there's gotta
brain.
be other like what does she say? Like, is there anything else that she like says about it?
No, no, she's not. Yeah, she denied doing any of it, and she said that this is all abnormalities at the hospital, and people are trying to falsify her records and whatever. But like, they found it was so obvious. Like, there was like no doubt that she did it because like when they went and investigated her house and searched her house, under her bed were like trash bags of this confidential information that's like hospital information about these babies of the ones that she like killed or tried to kill. And so it's just like, come on, man. Like, there's no denying. Like, and that's the trophy thing of the serial killer is like that's the way that she was trying to collect the trophy of every single time she killed one of these kids was bring home some confidential hospital-based information about that child. So
Mm-hmm.
not good, not good.
I'm looking at a video of her trial. It's like delightful that in the UK the judge still wears a wig.
Oh my god, I love that. The
It's,
one with curlers, right? You got curlers then?
mm-hmm. What? Okay. Some of her friends are like, she didn't do it. And then she leaves post-it notes that said, I did this. I'm evil.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So this one has the word hate really big circled. Oh God.
The initials of the baby would be on her calendar. So on the days that the babies died, she would have the initial of the baby on the calendar.
Oh my God.
Obviously, it's speculative because it could have been any two letters. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just like it's too much evidence. It's just too much evidence.
They should have done something like so much sooner.
Yeah, yeah.
That's terrible.
And the doctors wanted to. The doctors were the ones who were like, "This is crazy. This is weird. We got to do something." So wild. It's just
I
like
just
it was like 8 years ago.
I don't understand how you can't do it immediately. Like,
Yeah,
why have to fucking fill out paperwork when babies are dying?
yeah,
Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like totally unfair that like you can't just be like, who and if she didn't do it, then who cares? She had 3 days off.
yeah,
You know? Who gives a shit?
yeah,
We put her on administrative leave for 3 days. Everybody who is around these dead babies, let's put them on leave. Let's see if babies continue to die. Or like put a fucking cop cam on her, you know?
yeah.
Like,
Well, that was the thing. I think like so when they decided they're gonna move her to the day shift, you know, I mean, that was kind of the oh shit moment, which was like, we can't deny this anymore because now you have three kids who went critical, two who died within like a day of each other. Like, it's obviously something's wrong. That was a part of the story that like changed it to like a horror movie for me was like when you
Yeah.
look around in the daylight, you're like, oh my God, like there's a serial killer working here.
First, I'm having a really hard time getting images for your stories because mine, I'm making like fun, dumb AI images of like volcanoes, and yours, I'm just like not even doing it. I can't. It's just like
Just
every
do Mid-Journey serial killer nurse.
okay, I'll do that. I did a for the a re-release Lori Vallow, and I just did a bunch of like zombies in church because I think that's funny, but it's not really much else you can do.
Yeah, my content's not exactly fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
it leaves something to be desired, and that something is a
Oh, well, I
shower.
can't do it. I can't do killer nurse. It says my prompt might be against their community standards. Imagine an evil nurse.
Yeah, there you go.
Nope, we can't do that either. Imagine Nurse Ratched. All right, that one's going. Um, yeah, yuck.
Yuck.
That's
It
so
was an
sad.
awful story. It's awful that it happened a lot. It's awful that it continues to seemingly happen. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're a parent, yeah, never let your kids out of your sight.
Ever, not once. Fuck.
Taylor, thank you for your time. I do need to get ready.
I know. Wait, I have one listener mail. Did you see
Yes.
Kiara's email?
No, I
Um,
didn't.
she asked us, I don't know if you got, if forwarding works, but Kiara asked if we have any personal stories of being around like crazy things that happened and also wants to know a little bit more about us. I thought that might be fun to do around the holidays where we can like spend a week where we don't have to frantically read a book.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's set that aside for maybe the Thanksgiving holiday or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Ooh, listener mail. Do a Q and A. Didn't last podcast just did a Q and A. It was
They did.
fun.
I don't mean we're not going to get that many Q&As, but thank you, Kara. We will get to that. That was a good idea. That sounds like a fun thing to do. And it's Farz's birthday, so Farz, go have brunch. And oh, I looked up espresso martini. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It actually says it's not a traditional martini because it doesn't have gin or vermouth, but it does have vodka, espresso, and wait, espresso, coffee liqueur, and vodka.
Sweet. That works.
That's it. Like Kahlua, espresso, and vodka.
Sounds
Sounds
lovely.
delicious. Have a
Yeah.
great time.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Omi.
Oh, wait, everyone follow us on social, Doomed to Fail Pod.
All the things. Thanks all.
Thanks.
Bye.